You didn't find this video. Heaven found you. This isn't content. This is a divine interruption. A whisper from eternity, breaking through the noise of your scrolling. A call from heaven, written in light, reaching for your heart right now. The scroll is opening, and your name is on it, written in the ink of forever. You've been walking through this life like a question wrapped in skin, searching, wondering, asking, who am I? Why am I here? You've faced storms, silence, seasons that didn't make sense. But through it all, heaven never lost sight of you. What if I told you someone saw you before you were ever born? What if I told you the ancient prophet Enoch, the one who walked with God and was taken without tasting death, Genesis 5:24, recorded your spirit in his visions of the end? Yes, before time began, before the stars were hung in their place, God already knew your name. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. You are not an accident. You are not unseen. You were chosen, crafted, and marked for this exact moment. That heaviness you've been feeling lately, that quiet ache inside, it's not despair. It's the pull of destiny, the stirring of heaven within you, the call to remember who you truly are. The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. Romans 8:16, and now heaven is speaking your name again. The same voice that called Enoch, the same voice that spoke to Moses in the wilderness, the same voice that whispered to Mary, "You are favored." That voice is calling you right now. If you can feel something awakening in your spirit, if your heart is beating a little faster, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You were led here on purpose. You are not watching. You are being summoned. This is your sign. This is your moment. This is your reminder that heaven has not forgotten your name. And now the scroll begins to open. Your story, rewritten in grace. Your name, spoken in love. Your future, realigned with divine purpose. If you receive this word, type Amen in the comments, not as a reaction, but as a response. Let heaven see your agreement. Let earth echo your yes, because this isn't just a video. It's a divine message sent straight to you. And the moment you say amen, something in heaven begins to move. As you agree with heaven, He saw you. In the stillness of sleep and in the fire of His waking, He saw you, not with earthly eyes, but with the sight only those who walk with God can bear. He heard your name echoing in thunder, in languages only angels could understand. Not just a sound, but a frequency, distinct, divine, and known in the courts of heaven. He saw a generation that would rise in the end, not dressed in the robes of recognition, not celebrated by crowds or systems, but cloaked in holy fire. They would not wear crowns of gold, but would carry scars that glowed, not from defeat, but from obedience. Wounds earned through surrender, through walking paths no one else saw, through battles fought in silence. These scars would shimmer like prophecy itself, proof that they had walked through the fire and come out with heaven's oil. And among them was you, walking through the cities of now with the eyes of another age. There's an ancient light behind your gaze, a knowing that doesn't come from books or sermons, but from deep places. From somewhere beyond this timeline, it's in your bones, in your blood. Sacred codes encrypted by the Spirit, passed down through generations, not by flesh, but by divine design. You remember things you were never taught. You speak with an authority that surprises even you. Not because you trained for it, but because heaven breathed it into you. And still, you've tried to hide it, to blend in, to explain yourself in smaller words. But how can you shrink what was shaped in the mind of God? How do you silence a voice that was carved in the thunder? The truth is, you were never meant to fit. You were meant to shift. You were never designed to match the room. You were born to move the room, to shift the air, stir the spirit, and awaken what's been sleeping. Because you were always different. Not defective, not too much, not misplaced. Different because you were chosen. Chosen not by the hands of men, not by titles or institutions, but by the voice that spoke galaxies into place. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight. Ephesians 1:4. Long before the dust became man, before the sea touched the shore, you were seen. And not only seen, you were set apart. When Enoch recorded what was to come, he didn't just see timelines. He saw bloodlines. He saw fire threaded through generations, fragments of eternity scattered through time, waiting to ignite in the final hour. And your flame is stirring. You've felt it. That subtle, holy unrest. The pull that won't let go. The sense that no matter how normal life looks on the surface, something deep within you has never been content to stay asleep. You were not sent here to survive. You were not placed in this hour by accident. There is a mission sealed inside you, and it's waking up. For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Ephesians 2:10. This is more than calling. This is assignment. Heaven is not improvising with your life. You were written into the script of the end before time ever began. And now, the fire inside you is no longer waiting. It's rising. You've tried to keep pace, to play along, to smile through it. But deep down, you can't do it anymore. The world around you is sleepwalking, reciting lines from a script that no longer fits your soul. Conversations feel hollow. Performances feel forced. You're not broken. You're waking up. That pressure in your chest, that restlessness that won't let you settle, that's not anxiety. That's activation. It's the divine script of your destiny awakening within your bones, demanding to be read aloud. You feel it, don't you? That growing tension between who you've had to be and who you were born to become. The survival strategies you once relied on are starting to crack. Your spirit is pressing up against the walls of comfort, whispering a single word: break. This isn't a breakdown. This is a breaking open. Enoch saw you. He saw a generation betrayed by blood, yet still choosing love. He saw the outcasts, exiled from churches, but carrying the raw, undiluted presence of God. He saw the misfits who wore isolation like armor until heaven whispered, move. He saw warriors who would first die 1,000 emotional deaths, heartbreaks, disappointments, spiritual exiles, before their voice could pierce the veil of this final darkness. And that's why your tears have been sacred. That's why cheap things don't touch you anymore. That's why you've grown allergic to pretending. Deep calls to deep in the roar of your waterfalls. All your waves and breakers have swept over me. Psalm 42:7. The world is playing chess, but your spirit has already seen the endgame. In dreams you can't fully remember, in flashes of knowing that haunt you like holy déjà vu. You've been walking among mortals, but eternity has been tapping on your shoulder. And lately, the tapping has turned to knocking. This is not nostalgia. This is soul recall. Your spirit is scanning for ancient coordinates, places, people, and promises it remembers from before time folded. That burning in your belly, it isn't hunger, it's scroll ink, and it's alive. You've been hunted by darkness because hell read the same book Enoch did. They saw your name in the margin, circled it, feared it, because you don't just carry light. You carry the code that breaks patterns, disarms systems, and tears down altars built on counterfeit fire. You were always the anomaly, the holy glitch, the silent disruption wrapped in ordinary camouflage. But now, the camouflage is tearing, the divine is leaking, the prophecy is bleeding through your skin. Enoch is watching from the cloud of witnesses, whispering, "It is time. You are not random. You are not crazy. You are not too late. You are the one the scroll spoke of when it said, 'And they shall rise with remembrance in their eyes, and thunder in their breath.' You are that thunder. They called you lost, but you were sealed. You weren't forgotten. You were concealed, hidden in silence, tucked into families and timelines that tried to bury what God marked before breath ever touched your lungs. You've felt invisible for years, but invisibility is heaven's insulation. You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. Psalm 32:7. You weren't hidden because you weren't worthy. You were hidden because you were dangerous, and it wasn't time. But now, it is. The sealed ones walk quietly among us, scarred but radiant, moving through trauma, through poverty, through systems engineered to silence and sedate. And still they carry light like contraband, hidden glory tucked into human frames, fire smuggled through the cracks of a crumbling world. You're not struggling because you're broken. You're struggling because you carry something uncorrupted in a world that worships compromise. You were born with something the darkness couldn't decode. Even before you had words for it, you felt it. That you were different, set apart, marked by something you couldn't see but couldn't deny. Even when you tried to sin like the rest, it never settled right on your skin. Even when you tried to give up, heaven whispered, "Not yet." Even when everything in you wanted to disappear, God's hand refused to let go. There's a reason you survived what others didn't. There's a reason the enemy launched a war against you while you were still innocent. Before you had language for spiritual warfare, before you had memory of the scroll that now stirs inside your chest, you were sealed, not as a shield from pain, but as a signal, a mark of belonging to something eternal. Nevertheless, God's solid foundation stands firm, sealed with this inscription: "The Lord knows those who are His." 2 Timothy 2:19. You are part of a remnant, a sacred few, hidden in plain sight, designed to awaken only when the earth hit a certain frequency. You don't bloom in safety, you bloom in chaos. Your roots grow deep in the dark. Your voice was never meant to echo in comfort. It was made to break atmospheres. You are system-proof, fire-tested, spirit-born, storm-hardened, and that's why hell couldn't kill you. It tried, in your sleep, through betrayal, through abuse, through fear and shame. But you slipped through the fingers of death like smoke because you were sealed by a word stronger than anything whispered in darkness. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, struck down, but not destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9. Your survival is not random. It was spoken, written by the Most High before your parents even knew your name. You are part of a mystery Paul once spoke of. Vessels of glory hidden in earthen containers. Sacred power wrapped in fragile form. And now, the seal isn't just protecting you, it's activating you. because what was hidden is rising, and what was sealed is being revealed. You've been walking like you're just trying to survive, like you're simply holding it together day by day. But what if I told you heaven was never preparing you to survive? It was preparing you to release. There is a sound in you, a shift, a sacred signal, and now the seal is beginning to crack. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange, quiet realization that your suffering wasn't pointless, that your voice is beginning to carry weight in rooms where you used to feel invisible, that people glance at you like they heard something, though you haven't said a word. That's not coincidence. That's your seal beginning to speak. You were never made to blend in. You were made to break through. You carry a disruptive frequency, not to harm, but to expose what is false. That's why some disliked you without knowing you. It wasn't personal, it was spiritual. They didn't reject you. They rejected what they couldn't name. The seal, the mark, the weight. The sealed ones don't chase platforms. They become altars. They don't strive for attention. They carry authority, and authority comes through crushing. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. Romans 5:3-4. You've walked like a wounded soldier, but heaven sees you as an oracle. There's oil rising from the crushing, not manufactured, not borrowed, yours. Pressed out through betrayal, silence, wilderness seasons. Before Babylon confused your voice, before Pharaoh enslaved your lineage, before trauma taught you to stay quiet, you were already marked, already sealed, already seen. He once said, "I set you apart before you were even born," and today he's whispering it again to you. You are part of the mystery, those vessels of divine glory hidden in common frames, and heaven has guarded your process with painful precision. That silence, that rejection, that loneliness. It wasn't exile, it was consecration. Rejection was God's filter. Isolation was God's classroom. Pain was heaven's language, and your tears have been read like scrolls. You've been trying to make sense of all the goodbyes, the friends who left, the calls that stopped, the doors that shut. But what if they didn't walk away? What if heaven walked you apart? You've been wrapped in garments of grief, not because you're weak, but because your spirit is shedding every layer not rooted in truth. The ache is not emptiness, it's a birthing. You're not waking up, you're remembering. This isn't about learning something new. This is about the unfolding of what your soul already knows. That pull in your chest, that sensitivity to things you've never studied, that deep discontent with surface-level faith. That's not confusion, that's remembrance. Enoch saw this moment, a people who would awaken not by religion, not by ritual, but by memory. A remnant who would embody the word, not just recite it, who would carry divine code etched not in stone, but in the lining of their bones. You've never been asleep like others are. Your soul has always flickered, like a candle under glass, waiting, watching, wondering when the time would come to remove the lid. And now, the wind of God is breathing, and the fire is starting to speak. You've been walking through this life like someone caught between worlds, a dreamer with one foot in time and the other in eternity. You've seen glimpses, felt impressions, carried emotions that didn't belong to the moment. As a child, you called them dreams. But now, you know better. They were instructions, clues, fragments of a mission wrapped in metaphor. You didn't forget your purpose. You were veiled from it, hidden until the time appointed, and now the veil is thinning. Every moment of déjà vu, every time your spirit stirred during worship and tears fell, for no reason you could name, that wasn't emotion, that was activation. When someone simply says, "Come home," and your chest tightens with a longing you can't explain, that's your soul remembering the place it came from. You were never made to be normal. You were designed for remembrance. That's why routines bore you. Why chasing success leaves you hollow. Why you can't just work, pay bills, and die like others seem content to do. Because something ancient within you is stirring. The scroll inside you is shaking, pressing against the walls of your awareness, desperate to unfold. Your soul doesn't crave entertainment. It craves the signal. And the signal is breaking through right now. You feel it in your sleep. Your dreams are shifting. You feel it in how certain words pierce you like prophecy. You feel it in your own voice. When you speak and someone stares like you echoed something they didn't even know they needed. That's not intellect. That's eternal knowing resurfacing. You're remembering oaths you took in the spirit before you ever breathed Earth's air. You're remembering the assignment that made demons tremble before you ever had a name. It was written over your story before your first heartbeat. Set apart and assigned, and that line is being read aloud to you now. You're remembering the altar where the Most High placed his hand on your forehead and whispered, "This one will carry the sound." You don't need another answer. You need stillness. You need sacred space for the remembering to complete its work. Enoch beheld a generation like you, walking as prophets yet feeling like strangers. He saw souls moving through cities like living scrolls, unfolding truth not just in sermons, but in conversation, in compassion, and quiet presence. You didn't just come from your parents, you came through them. You are the echo of prayers whispered behind closed doors, the embodiment of groans too deep for words. Your ancestors didn't endure just to survive. They carried forward a frequency, a sacred ember, sealed in blood and memory, passed through generations until it found a vessel strong enough to hold it. That vessel is you. And Enoch saw this too. He wrote of a generation that would carry not only their own calling, but the unfinished business of those who came before. The prophets whose voices were silenced, the altars torn down, the promises abandoned in war, colonization, slavery, and shame. That's why your life feels so heavy. It's not weakness, it's legacy. You are breaking chains that were forged before you were born. You are healing wounds that didn't start with you, but demanded to end with you. You are the answer to cries your great-grandmother whispered into the night. You are the fulfillment of promises made under stars, long extinguished, but never forgotten. This is why you've always felt things others ignored. Why your spirit tenses in rooms where smiles wear masks. Why you sense pain that was never spoken. Why you feel the weight of moments that passed before you even arrived. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're spiritually awake. Your soul remembers what your flesh tried to forget. The ancient paths, the sacred rhythms, the prophetic dreams that danced through your childhood sleep like riddles from another realm. They were never just dreams. They were instructions, echoes, blueprints coded into your being before time wrapped itself around you. Now, heaven is giving you the language for what you've always felt. You are both echo and answer, the bridge between what was and what must now come. They paid the price. You carry the breakthrough. Yes, the trauma in your bloodline was real, but so were the prayers. So were the visions, so was the oil. And you are the one chosen to awaken what was left sleeping in the blood, to resurrect what pain tried to bury. This is why the enemy came for you so young, why confusion, shame, and self-hatred found you before you even found your voice. Because hell knew what you didn't yet, that if you ever awakened to what you carry, you would become a threat to every demonic pattern built on generational silence. But now, you're waking up. You're seeing the patterns, the loops, the lies, and something in your spirit is rising with a sacred defiance that says, no more. That sound inside you, that's ancestral alignment. That's your bloodline flipping. That's the fire Enoch saw, not a fire of rage, but of redemption. He makes beauty from ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Isaiah 61:3. You were not born to repeat. You were born to rebuild. You don't need applause. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be faithful to what's waking up in your bones. Because your obedience is opening doors that haven't moved in centuries. The devil hoped the trauma would silence you, but instead it softened you. It made you dangerous to darkness. You carry both memory and a mandate. That ache to write, to speak, to create, to weep, even when no one's watching. That's not performance. That's prophecy. The pain wasn't punishment, it was placement. You weren't destroyed, you were decoded. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Job 13:15, heaven used the very things that tried to mute you to magnify your voice. The betrayal, it trained your discernment. The abandonment, it taught you how to walk with God when no one else stayed. The violation, it set fire to your purpose to protect what others forgot to guard. You're not just healing for you, you're mapping a blueprint for those behind you. Pain is a strange teacher. It doesn't lecture, it builds, it doesn't shout. It carves paths through silence. And you, chosen one, have been branded by experiences so holy that even angels pause when you cry. Because your tears have become oil. Do you see it now? Every dark room was a womb, every collapse an altar, every silence was preparing your voice to shatter strongholds in the spirit realm. Enoch saw them, a generation who would walk through the fires of generational trauma, not emerging bitter or broken, but burning with divine glory. He saw ones who would carry the residue of pain but release the fragrance of heaven. He saw you, not polished, not approved by systems, but marked not with credentials, but with evidence. You are that evidence. Enoch saw you, a holy disruptor whose resonance exposes what is false and awakens what is true. Systems cannot contain what is holy. And you, chosen one, are holy, not sanitized, not safe, but set apart. Your life is proof that prophecy still breathes, that promises survive the flames, that calling is stronger than chaos. Every moment you almost gave up but didn't, that was a page in your scroll. Every time you chose to show up with a bleeding heart and trembling faith, another seal was broken. You didn't just survive the trauma, you translated it into anointing. But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. 2 Corinthians 4:7, what makes you dangerous isn't perfection, it's obedience under pressure. Even when limping, you said yes. Even when shattered, you chose love. Even when heaven was silent, you moved in faith. That's real power. Heaven doesn't need another flawless sermon. It needs your survival story, raw, trembling, and true. Your scars are blueprints. Your voice is a map, because someone else is waiting for your courage to unlock their own. You were never just a survivor. You are a signal, a living, breathing frequency of heaven. Disruptive, unfiltered, undeniable. not because you were rebellious, but because your resonance revealed the lie. Systems cannot contain what is holy, and you, chosen one, are holy, not sanitized, not safe, but set apart. That's why certain rooms drained you, why jobs felt suffocating, why stages felt hollow and altars too quiet. Your spirit refused to conform. When you breathe, frequencies shift. When you enter, facades crack. That's not anxiety, it's reverberation. You're waking people up just by existing. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. You weren't sent to make people comfortable. You were sent to make them remember. They tried to tame your fire, called you too sensitive, too emotional, too intense. But your fire made their shadows nervous. Your clarity broke their confusion. Your questions revealed their false foundations. They couldn't predict you, and what can't be predicted, they tried to suppress. But heaven doesn't send people to be predictable. It sends them to be prophetic. You were never rebellious. You were resonating at a frequency they couldn't handle. You weren't sent to build altars inside broken temples. You were sent to be the altar, a living interruption, a divine anomaly, a soul with thunder in its bones and clarity in its breath. So stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for being the sound. You are not too much. You are exactly enough to break the chains they said would never fall. Your existence is a declaration. Every breath you take is resistance to deception. Your presence is not passive, it's prophetic. You are the sound that shakes strongholds. The moment you entered this world, darkness took notice. The sealed one had arrived. You were never made to play by their rules. You were sent to reveal they were rigged. Even as a child, something in you knew. The way they defined truth, it felt hollow. The way they taught power, it felt polluted. They spoke of God like he was a statue, not a storm. But you weren't fooled. You carry holy tension, not bitterness, but bold alignment. You don't exist to tear things down out of spite. You expose by simply existing, because your authenticity makes the counterfeit tremble. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Ephesians 5:11. That's why your spirit can't settle, why falsehood makes your skin crawl, why systems crack beneath your feet when you try to stand still in them. You weren't born to echo the lie. You were born to interrupt it. You've tried to be silent, tried to play the part, but the truth won't stay quiet in you. It rises like fire in your bones. But his word was in my heart like a burning fire shut up in my bones. I was weary of holding it back, and I could not. Jeremiah 29. You are a divine disruptor. You see beyond the surface, into systems, into structures, into spirits. It's not easy to carry this kind of sight. It's lonely, heavy, exhausting. To walk through rooms full of people and feel God more in silence than in their sermons. But you are not broken. You are calibrated for glory. Heaven tuned your frequency to truth, and now truth is tuning the earth through you. Enoch saw this. He saw a generation that wouldn't just believe, they would discern, not with pride, but with piercing purity. Voices not chasing titles, but carrying thunder. Walkers of holy clarity. That's why they tried to dim your light. Why they called you too sensitive, too intense, too much. But beloved, your sight was never the problem. It was always the weapon. Heaven is breaking every false name off you. Those labels you wore like armor, they're burning. You were never too much. You were never not enough. You were never broken. You were set apart. And now the real you is rising. You are not here to be understood. You are here to remind the world that truth still walks. And today, it wears your name. He's removing every false name they ever placed on you, stripping off every identity formed in trauma instead of truth. This isn't your breakdown. This is your unveiling. Heaven is peeling back the layers, old roles, counterfeit callings, inherited shame. Beneath it all, glory. They called you emotional, but God says you're sensitive to the Spirit. They called you rebellious, but heaven calls you righteous. They called you unstable, but you're ascending. You didn't come here to fit in. You were never meant to. You weren't made to carry titles made by human hands. You were designed to carry fire. To all who received him, he gave the right to become children of God, born not of natural descent, but born of God. John 1:12-13. Enoch saw a generation rise, throwing off every garment of shame. He saw a people who refused to wear humility that came from fear. He saw you, chosen, awakened, walking out of hiding and into holy alignment. The mirror is clearing, the scroll is open, and the name heaven wrote for you, the name the wind carries when you dream, is beginning to echo in the spirit. It's not too late. You're not too much. You're not behind. You're anointed, dangerous, beloved. You were never the black sheep. You were the blue flame, not common, not safe, but precise, holy, alive. And now that flame is consuming every label that tried to contain you. This is why you've outgrown old rooms, why your soul recoils in shallow conversations, why silence suddenly feels more sacred than sound. You're not shutting down. You're shedding who you had to be to survive, returning to who you were born to be. I will give them a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. Revelation 2:17. You've waited for a sign, a trumpet, a moment. But what if I told you? The trumpet is in your bones. That trembling in your chest isn't fear, it's familiarity. You're not being activated. You are the activation. You don't need permission to rise. You need permission to stop hiding. And heaven has just revoked your hiding place. So breathe. Let the old names fall. Let the false timelines dissolve. You were seen before you stood, known before you spoke, chosen before you cried. You are not a survivor by accident. You are the prophecy in motion, the one heaven trusted with this time. Now rise, not rushed, not desperate, just true. Still soul, steady flame, divine rhythm. And when fear comes knocking, remind it. I am the one Enoch saw. I am the sound. I am the sign. I am the shift.